Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming to the stream. Absolutely phenomenal times that we have, and we are going to be having a great time with none other than Mr. Ruud Jolie of Within Temptation and For All We Know band. And it's my pleasure to have that gentleman here with us today because it's been a long time that we have not seen each other, and I believe I'm certainly missing that guy because it's always fun with that guy. And I hope he's missing me as well. That sounds wrong. But considering that, I would definitely bring Rude into the gameplay now, and we will chit chat with you guys and have a great time. Hello, Mr. Rude. Nice to have you on the show. Here you are.
Thank you very much. Great for having me, and thank you very much for that. And yes, I do miss you as well.
Oh, thank
I,
you
I,
so
I
much.
feel that we have some kind of bromance going on, or am I taking things too far
No,
now?
no, you're absolutely right because that's been the case. That's been the case since the time we met, and that would be a story to talk about as well. That how that happened because that was quite interesting and funny, and
Yeah,
we definitely be looking into that because it was quite spontaneous. Never that I could have expected that to happen, and floop, it did happen indeed. But first off, how are you doing, my friend? Tell us about like
I'm.
how this time has been treating you. How have you been treating yourself with this lovely time?
Yeah, this time, I don't think it comes to as a surprise to anyone that this Corona time, especially for musicians like you and like me, is a very interesting time in my life. I would actually say
Right.
because I was supposed to have a full summer full of festivals,
True.
busy time, lots of traveling, and everything. My agenda.
Right. 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 I'm with 32. Okay. Oh. Oh.
So
Just.
I thought that for this conversation,
So you're telling me that but at least your studio is air conditioned, right?
yes,
And having
fortunately,
31 degrees is okay inside. Definitely.
definitely,
Right.
right now.
Because my concern is like out above 25 degrees, I'm done. I'm done. I it
Same here.
Yeah,
Same here.
I
I hate it.
exactly.
Even though that it seems that the public opinion is that the warmer the better. And if it's like 35 degrees, people are like, oh, it's going to be 35 degrees. And, I know Finland. I've
Oh
been to
yes,
Finland many, many times.
indeed.
But the Netherlands, it's always so humid. It's really, it's sticky and, ah. Anyways,
I can
now I
totally
feel,
imagine. Even though the
yeah, I'm
35
going,
degrees, when I've experienced the 35 degrees in Finland as well, it's like skin piercing heat. It's not the
yeah,
heat that
yeah,
we're talking about, like that it's moist and humid and so on and so on. Like, but like more south you go, as most of the viewers who are watching here must know that Mr. Ruud Jolie is from Holland, Netherlands, Nederlandsk, as we say.
hmm
So the temperature, the atmosphere over there is completely different when the temperature goes up. So certainly I'm with you because I've lived certain time in Germany as well, very near to the
yeah,
Dutch border. So
very similar.
I can
Yeah,
imagine. But for me, after living in Finland for a long time, even being in different countries, as you have as well, traveled all over the world, coming back home and still having that feeling is completely different than touring around. Let's say, even if you go to States and there's 40 degrees, or if you go to um, let's say Australia as well. The heat is completely different and you can bear with it for a little while. But like sitting
Mm,
home going through that temperature, I don't know how you do it. Like I can imagine why you're wearing what you're wearing and having a good
yeah,
time with it.
yeah, exactly. It's not
Exactly.
something that I wear every day, but you know,
True.
once we reach 30 degrees, I'm all my fashion sense goes out of the window, and
Oh,
I try to cope with it the way that is best.
no, I get it. I get it. I mean, right now our temperature is around about like 18 degrees, 17 degrees, but it's quite a cloudy day today. So it feels like as if it's 12 or 13. And I'm not kidding. That's one of the reasons I wore a full on shirt that I was like, okay, I'm not going to wear a hoodie, which was a mistake because I just went outside to grab some things from the store and I was feeling chilly a little bit like, wow. So
Oh man,
happens. But, anyways, you tell me
maybe I should
about.
book a flight.
Sorry?
I said maybe I should book a flight.
That is what is in the talks. You should be doing that, sir. Indeed, that would be very important. Indeed, indeed. We need you here. We need you here.
Cool.
Considering that, please do tell me that how are your guitars holding up in that temperature? Because we need to start slowly now with the equipment. Like because Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Ruud Jolie is an amazing guitar player, and considering 31 degrees in your city, how are the guitars holding up?
Yeah, they need a little bit more adjustment than usual, I guess.
Right.
But I always have a small
Ooh,
collection here.
look at that.
You know,
Lovely.
my bongo bass. That this one, the PRS. That is the guitar that I will save
Hmm.
if my house starts to burn down.
All right.
That is the one. Yeah, I will go back for my cats first, and then I will go back to save that guitar. You know, and that's a Fender Telecaster,
Oh, yes, sir.
not a real old one.
Hmm.
That's I purchased that Jackson a couple of months ago. It's from '91, and it's amazing.
Oh,
It's really
wow.
great.
Oh, wow.
And that's my Meionis Evertune, and there's a Meionis Hydra in the corner. I don't know if you can tell.
Oh, yeah, there
And
it was. There it was. That was the one that you
there's an
brought to Finland as well.
oh yeah. I usually travel with that one because it's headless and it's yeah, it's quite small. So
Right.
that's nice. But yeah, my guitars. To be really honest, I haven't been playing that much since it's been so warm.
I
Um,
understand.
I've been walking around the city a lot, and I've been hanging out at the library a lot over here. We have a fairly new library in the city of Tilburg, in the
Uh
south
huh.
of the Netherlands, where I'm from, and it's a very inspiring place, I must say, and it's nice and cool. So that's where I do some work every now and then.
Indeed, that is what we are going to get to as well. And most of you might know, most of you might not know, Ruud is an incredible uh, professional teacher as well. Would you like to
True.
talk about that, please? Because I just noticed one of your Instagram posts and Facebook posts, uh, definitely discussing about, mentioning about one of your theory, music theory method that you have. And
Yeah,
you mentioned
yeah,
about that the school is going international. So it would be nice if you talk about that. How is that coming about?
exactly. So I've been teaching at Metal Factory, and that's a fully recognized educational system by the government, so people can get grants for that, or
Beautiful.
how do you call it? Scholarships.
Nice.
And it's a musical education focused on heavy metal music. And starting this year, even though that the whole Corona thing
Right.
that made it a little bit special, I guess, with preparations, we're gonna go international, which means yeah, that I need to translate my music theory method into English. And that's what I've been doing at the library at the moment, to
Right.
translate everything, and that takes a lot of time.
Mm.
Um, I see that you are frozen, Mr.
I'm
Asim. I
frozen.
don't know if I'm frozen as well,
No, you're not, sir. You are
but as long
completely
as I
fine.
don't hear anything from your side
Okay.
or from your assistant, I'm just going to keep on rambling.
Okay. No, no.
That's
We are
okay.
completely hearing you, and I hope that you are
So
hearing
yeah,
us.
that's what I've been doing. And it's fun. I like teaching. I love teaching. I've been doing it for a long, long time, and I've always have been doing it even during the, during my time with implementation.
Right.
Um, and to be really honest, you know, I feel that I'm talking to a blank wall right now, but I just keep on talking.
Really? That
Um,
is okay, because in the
to
stream
be
you're
honest,
totally
with this
fine
whole Corona thing,
happening
no
here.
gigs, so no income, basically.
Uh-huh.
So I'm happy that I've always been able to teach, which is fun, which gives me something to do in the week. A set rhythm, Mondays and Tuesdays. That's when I teach,
Right?
and it gives me some income, which is nice.
That is the most important
Are
part
you still
of
there?
I'm still here. I'm trying to
Frozen.
register that are you listening? Are you hearing us
Wait,
at
I'm gonna
all?
send you a message.
Let's see what's happening. This is
Maybe I will find out.
um right on. Hello, hello.
Ah,
Yes,
we're fine. Okay, cool.
right. So you're able to
Then
hear
I'm
me now?
gonna keep on talking. I just don't hear you. Wait.
Fine. I hope you did not mute us.
Stream is completely fine. Awesome sauce. Okay, so what else should I talk about? Well,
So, but are you
maybe I studied jazz guitar at the conservatory. I graduated in 1999, which is, this song by Prince. But wait, let me. Uh,
right? This
you are hearing me now.
yes,
No,
I
I
hear.
don't hear you.
I hear you totally fine.
Sorry, people of the interwebs, that this is a little bit chaotic.
Yeah, this is
If you
this is
see me
called,
text, it's not that I'm
technology. That's how
feeling indifferent about this stream. It's just that I
we're trying to make it
am
work
talking to
somehow.
Asim over WhatsApp right now.
Hmm. How about that? We're just gonna
Funny.
start chit-chatting ourselves,
Anyways,
in between and so on.
um, Asim, if you hear me, maybe you can type a new question, and then I can ramble on again until
Right,
the issue is fixed.
right. We have,
Maybe
I
that's the
think,
plan.
Orenco
But I
number
was saying that
two
I
is trying.
graduated in 1999, and I've been teaching officially at music school since 1998.
Mhm.
And in 2001, I joined with instrumentation. Of course, the band wasn't that big yet, so money-wise, there wasn't that much to be gained from that. So I've always been teaching, and since 10 or 11 years, I've been teaching at music colleges, official colleges, and the
Right, people. I'm gonna disconnect with
wait.
Rude and come back in a split second. I think there's a bit of a connection problem at Rude's end, so we are gonna do so. Then I'm gonna bring it back in a split second. So going to disconnect it with
Okie
him,
dokie, wait.
and right, it would be the best if Rude disconnects and then comes back. I'm just gonna write him. Meanwhile, don't worry. Uh, back. Right. So, not many people are familiar with Discord, so that happens to be the case. And what we're going to do is get everybody
Yes,
used to
I
the
can hear
Discord.
you.
All right, you can hear me now. That is brilliant. Can you see me as well?
Okay. No, not at all. He froze, and then the sound was gone.
Okay. Hmm. That is strange. But now you're able to hear me, right?
Should I do the same thing, or should I just say, yeah, I don't see you, but I think that's correct. But
Hmm. I could do
sure,
this.
yeah. My whole talk, did that work?
Does it work now? Are you able to hear me?
Sure.
No? Dude, able to hear me? Hello? Is there anybody out there? Okay, then I need to disconnect somehow and I need to get back in the hood. Hello, Mr. Rude. Are you able to hear me? Hello, Rude. Connecting. Apparently seems to be that the problem remains at my end for some reason. But people are able to hear me. So I am going to.
He tried again, but it failed.
Right. Are you able to hear me? Are you guys able to hear me? This is insane. This is called technology at its best, having a lot of problems. Everybody can hear me in the stream, and nobody can hear me in Discord. That
Amazing
is
that it's happening always when we are trying to do something live.
exactly.
Yeah. I don't know if that's Murphy's Law, but I always call it Murphy's Law.
Yeah, actually, some already in the chat are saying it's a Murphy's Law.
Exactly. So I'm going to
Yeah.
open the Discord again from
But it
my
seems to be
end
something with
and try
Discord
to bring the
because
people back.
when you stopped
Um,
hearing Asim, I stopped hearing him as well, and I saw that the server was having connection issues, and that's the Discord side issue.
Right.
Okay.
Today is not our day. As you can see, Ruud
Right.
is not able to
Let's
hear
see
at the
if he's
moment,
coming
but
back or not.
Orenko is
What
trying to.
happens with the people who are watching this? They just everything is on pause, or do they still?
They can hear us right now, but Asim, we cannot hear you over Discord.
Hello, people. Are you able to hear me
Okay,
now?
Asim has rejoined the channel,
Right.
but there is no audio.
No route.
I can
What
see on
is
the
the
stream
problem?
that you are perfectly well visible, and they can hear both of us at the moment talking, but we cannot hear Asim.
That
Did
is
he jump
insane.
out again?
People, what we're going to do right now is I'm going to play you some music for a little while, and I'm definitely going to go come back, and this is a problem that we need to solve somehow. So, meanwhile, never mind. I will
Strange.
definitely be letting you guys
Strange indeed.
updated regarding this thing
has
in a
not
split
happened
second.
like this before. And
3. Hello, people. Welcome back, and we are back in the game. Unfortunately, this was completely Discord's fault. It was nothing in our control. We could not do anything. I had been apparently gone away from the whole scene. So, sorry, and welcome back. Here is Mr. Rude with us. He was a gentleman, as always he is, very calm and patient. And thank you very much for being patient, sir.
Of course,
So,
Maestro.
let's talk about it again. We were just talking about your teaching that you have been teaching for a long time. And since when did you start teaching actually in Metal Factory? And how did it come about that you chose or they chose you? Or what was the whole story behind it?
Yeah, so let's see. I studied at the conservatory, and that's where I met some people who ended up um, founding the very first. Yeah, the school. Then you need to know a little bit about the schooling system in the Netherlands. Usually, you have conservatories, which they're not universities, but there are still, they call it, hoger beroepsonderwijs, which you would translate into higher professional education, whatever, which is a higher level, but more on the practical side. But there's also a lower level, which is middle professional education. But there has never been a musical educational system for that. Whereas those people thought, okay, but being creative doesn't necessarily have something to do with your cognitive level of thinking, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So they founded the Herman Brood Academy. Herman Brood, he's a legend in the Netherlands. He was this rock and roll star, and they named the school after him. And that school has existed for 15 years or something like that. Then there was another school, and I started teaching at that. But then I went on tour, and that fell apart. One of the things that I also always noticed is, and I don't know if you know what I mean, but whenever I was doing auditions for the new students to be accepted into that school, if a kid with a flying V entered and he would play a Metallica song, he would always, not even by me, but by some colleagues, he would always be asked to play, some funky style or a John Mayer kind of thing or whatever. Whereas a John Mayer kind of guitar player coming in with his Strat would never be asked to play a Metallica riff.
Yeah, that is sad.
yeah, that is sad. And especially in the Netherlands, m- most bands who make it abroad, or make it, whatever the criterion for making it is, but who
Right.
are at least a little bit successful abroad, they're usually from the heavy metal scenery.
Ah, I
And
see.
yeah, at least in this country.
Interesting.
And another reason is that the whole metal scene is a very much, DIY kind of thing, do it yourself, DIY. The whole, I think that the whole, especially heavier styles of music, you can produce in your own studios these days, and you can do a lot yourself. I'm just saying that it's a completely different mindset than jazz music or even hipster pop music or whatever. And
Right.
another thing, and that's also where I have experiences in, is that in music schools where official teachers work, there are not that many official teachers who have a background in heavy metal. So we teach those kids, and it's always a misconception whenever I tell them that I teach at this heavy metal music college,
Right. 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 Right.
because it does sound ridiculous, because you know when are we going to have a reggae music college? That's
Right.
not going to happen, not in this country. But and it's a misconception that we are, I always make fun, I always make the joke that we come in the classroom, we say our prayers, to Satan, then we bite off the head of a bat, then we dissect the bat, and then we drink its blood, and then we start to play Slayer songs the whole day. That's absolutely not what's happening. But we try to prepare these people for a professional career in music, whether it's being on stage
Right.
or teaching, or maybe book bands or organize festivals. And let's face it, there are also kids who, in those 3 years that it takes, find out that they rather want to have music as a hobby, and they want to become a police officer, or they
Right.
want to become a photographer or whatever,
Surely.
and that's also fine.
Yeah, because at least they have the chance to really, look into and go through all the kind of like necessary steps that their inner feeling kind of is saying about. Because I believe that was my question was before as well, that how did you get into the whole music scene? What happened? How did you pick up the guitar? Like, what was inside you that spoke? Because obviously, before you going to the conservatory to study, you must have had a passion towards the whole music thing to really start looking into it in a different light. That hey, this is what I want to do. It's like, where did that all start? Because many people are lacking that in today's world as well. They just don't understand that if you're given that opportunity, it's so beautiful, it's so nice that it's like you go to a school, you study physics, chemistry, and so on. You study at a certain level, you study biology and all that. Then you're given the option, okay, what do you want to do now? So why not? It's like specifically made for the music section as well, as you just said. Many people just want to just now do but they want to become a police officer and take music as a hobby. Why not? I've got a lot of police officer friends in Finland as well who just take music as a hobby as well. But they had to do it everything from the scratch, like by themselves. But what is your story? Where did the music come in your life? How did you pick up the guitar?
Well, I started as a no, not as a keyboardist. That's maybe a little bit too
Aha.
much credit for my musical skills on the keyboard. But I started playing the keyboards because a brother of my dad, so my uncle, he sold his, and
Mhm.
my parents, I'm the only musician in the whole family, by the way, on both sides on my mother's side and on my father's side.
I see.
So they still suspect that something went wrong, either in the hospital I was swapped, whatever. But anyways, but my parents, they thought that playing a musical instrument could be part of your whole upbringing.
Right.
They never forced me, but they asked me, hey, would you be interested in playing the keyboards? Then we will buy that keyboard from your uncle. And I was
Sure.
like, yeah, sure, why not? Let's give it a shot. But yeah, those lessons that I took I had to
Right.
play with those arpeggiators, those bossa nova
Right.
rhythm things. That
Right. Right.
sucked.
Oh, damn it.
Can I swear? Can I
Of
swear?
course, this is like full adult. Like this is.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sucked balls. But in the meantime, when I was in '88, I think, so I was 12,
Right.
from '76. I got this copy cassette tape from Iron Maiden from Live After Death, and I became a fan instantly. You know, Run to the Hills, the live version on Live After Death was the first song that I heard, and I was like, okay, fuck, this is awesome, this is great. And for that, either that year or not that year, '88. I got the VHS cassette tape of Live After Death, the video, the concert
Right. Right.
by
Right.
Maiden.
Yes.
And that's when I saw them, Dave Murray, Adrian Smith play their electric guitars.
Oh
And
yes.
that's when I knew, holy shit, that's what I want. But by then, that keyboard that has been given to me
What
had been
happened?
collecting dust for many, many months.
Ah. Right.
So my parents, they weren't too eager. And it
Th-
took me about 1.5 years to convince them
right. Right.
that I really, really wanted to play electric guitar. So, in the end, they caved and they were like, okay,
Mhm.
you're turning 14 in a
Right.
couple of weeks. Then we're going to buy you an electric guitar. But under one condition, you need to take lessons.
Uh-huh.
And I kind of agree,
Okay.
because, there's only so much that you can. And let me make clear, this was before internet, before YouTube. You
Precisely.
know,
Yeah.
nowadays, sure, people can teach themselves to play guitar, to do whatever by,
Sure.
looking up a YouTube video.
Definitely.
I'm not
Definitely.
saying that that's the best way, but back then there was nothing. There was nothing,
True.
and
True.
you can only get so far by, trying to maybe, of
Just
course, there
even.
are a lot of people. Yeah, there are lots of people who would never had taken one class, one lesson.
Right.
Sure, that's fine. But my parents were like, to keep you motivated, to
Correct.
to make sure that that guitar isn't ending up next to the keyboard in that same corner of your little bedroom. We want you to take lessons,
Right.
which I did. And as a
Uh-huh.
matter of fact, I was still doing karate. I've been a huge karate fan,
Oh
and I
wow.
was pretty high level karate back then. I was only 14, so it didn't.
So
And then I could.
what
Then
belt were you?
I was brown. No, going brown. So
Okay.
only
Right.
blue, not
Sure.
that much. But I did some competition and stuff.
Right. Right.
And then I could choose either one times a week guitar lesson and one times a week karate,
Right.
or skip karate and have 2 lessons a
Right.
week, which I chose. So that goes to show how motivated I was from the beginning.
Surely. Surely.
And I
Yeah.
remember that just before I went to the conservatory, I was studying 8 hours a day,
Oh
especially
wow.
during the summer holidays.
Yes.
And yeah, you probably recognize that in yourself as well.
Precisely. Precisely.
Yeah,
Precisely. That's exactly the age that, everything started happening with me, music of like particularly music wise, that I said like that's it. I want to be a guitar player, I want to be a musician. And at the age of 12, that was when I got my first guitar as well. But I can totally relate to that and totally
yeah.
understand. But you have forgotten to tell us about like what was your first guitar that you got? Which electric
Ah,
guitar was it?
it was a Cyclone. And as a matter of fact,
Hmm.
I turned 44 in April last year. And
Congrats for that, by the way.
thanks.
Absolutely.
I made a video. I got on my attic, because in my attic I have a storage thing, and I have some guitars.
Right.
And then I dug out that very first guitar, and
Mm-hmm.
I cleaned it, and I put new strings on it,
Oh, yes.
and I played it. Sounded like shit, but I made a video about it.
Which
But it was
everybody
a
can see on YouTube, by the way. Those who are watching the stream, I have put Ruud's YouTube link as well, as you might be able to see somewhere around that side over there. So please do go check that out. That'd be awesome.
yeah. But it was fun to hold that guitar again for the first time in maybe 30 years or something.
Right.
And I'm not that much of keeping things just for the sake of keeping things.
I totally
I get
understand.
rid of yeah, I get rid of stuff. I get rid of guitars. I really don't care. There's only one guitar that I would never sell.
That
That's the
actually
the
reminds me
Yamaha.
of the fact that everybody who's watching the stream, thank you very much, who are newcomers, and absolutely, I really, really very much appreciate for the recent followers, recent follows that I got. I'm sorry, I'm not able to read all the names, but this is absolutely the gentleman who told me about the next Netflix series called Minimalist, and is the reason
Yes.
that I started to really, because this was the discussion I had with Ruud some time back when he was here also, that oh my god, it's a lot of
Okay.
clutter going around, like a lot of things, this and that. So that's exactly what Rouge is now talking about. If you have not seen that
Ah,
documentary, please do watch it,
yeah.
because I learned from
That's
that guy and watched that documentary, and it helped a lot.
yeah. Oh, did it? Cool. Cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've started to throw
It,
off all the, especially
yeah.
us musicians, we tend to do keep a lot of clutter around. Even the old strings might be just lying around.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. And keeping pieces of gear for that maybe that one occasion that you might need it. Nah, man. And,
right,
and like I said, I keep some of my guitars in my attic, and I have this rule: if I have them there for a year and I
right.
haven't used it, and I never had the feeling like, oh, I really want to play that guitar.
Hmm.
If I have that, I'm gonna sell it.
Wow, that I should
I'm not,
learn. That I should
I'm not,
learn.
I'm not that difficult with it anymore. Not
Right.
anymore.
So,
Also with my Star Wars collection.
right. And that's the
Well,
other thing that I have, when Rude and I met, I did tell him that I haven't seen Star Wars yet, so he's a complete Star Wars fan. And that's why this is something that we need to connect our dots with still. Like that's gonna be still like something to work on.
yeah.
That's on my side of work. I need to really work on it. But
Did I,
consider
did I tell you the story about those books that I ordered? Those books
no,
on minimalism? Haven't I told you that?
no, 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 no,
No.
no.
Okay. I was actually in Finland when I watched that minimalism documentary for the first time.
Aha. Okay.
I learned that those two guys that they had written two books on the subject.
All right.
So I was like, yeah, I will be home in 4 days. I'm gonna order those books. It's already pretty ironic, and it's a paradox to buy things about getting rid of stuff. But anyways,
Right.
long story short, I ordered it, and it would say that next day delivery. So I knew that when I would get home that they
Right.
would be on my doorstep. Weren't there. Next day weren't there. So I called them.
Uh-huh.
I called the store. It's bol.com. It's like the Dutch Amazon.
Right.
And I call them. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, then something might have gone wrong in the post. I will send them again.
Okay.
Sure, why not? Half an hour later, I heard something, through the mailbox. Glunk, glunk. I go, that's
Whoops.
really,
Yeah.
that's strange. But those were those two books. Of course, those were the first books that I ordered, and the next day I got the second books that they resent.
Oh.
So then I was, ironically, I was holding two of the same books about minimalism.
Epic.
Yeah, but
Right.
that I laughed really hard. That was quite
Right. Right.
funny.
Like, yeah, I want to be minimalist. Like, boom. All right. Same things twice. Okay.
Yeah,
So what
exactly.
what did you do with the other books then?
I gave them to a friend of mine who I knew would appreciate those books.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. But have you been doing that with your books as well? For instance, that if you read a
Oh
book, if you
yeah,
read
yep,
a book and you just get rid of it, like
yep.
afterwards.
We have this bookstore pretty close by, 3 minute walk,
Right.
and all the money that they make, it goes to charity.
Nice. Nice.
And the books that I hand in, I won't get paid for it because the money that they sell,
Right.
the money that they get from selling my books, that goes to charity. But those books are like between 50 cents, and I think that the most expensive book I've ever bought there was 4.5 euros. And I read them
Sure.
and I bring them back. It's
Perfect.
great.
Perfect. Yeah, I should be doing that. I used to read books a lot at times, but nowadays I think we did discuss about that. That I'm more like now more into the articles and like very quick access to
Mm,
things. Like I personally, of course, I don't have that much time anymore. That of course everybody can create time or make time if they want to do something, but my um, concentration has been about get to the point and get to the articles and so on. I don't have any much time to read the novels and fantasies and
mm,
all that kind of stuff. So I rather stick to okay, what's the point? Pinpoints this and that, this and that. In today's
mm.
world, they have created these, kind of like programs or apps as well, where you can get like really, really to the point notes about the book, which I don't understand. I still think that's pathetic because a book is a book. How can you? It's like if you made an album of you put the whole lot of work in the album, so you're just putting snippets of guitar solo, vocals, that chorus, that this. How is that gonna justify like what you meant by the whole album, right? For me, that doesn't work. So I wish I could really get back
Or
to.
just watch the trailer of a movie.
Sorry.
Mm. I said it's just like watching a trailer of a movie.
Right,
With
exactly,
the eyes.
exactly. How do you get the whole point of the movie in that sense? So
Yeah.
I would love to do that and really get into open my that box is sitting somewhere in my studio as well, which has all the books and so on. Because at home, my home government does not want it around, so I had to bring it here, and I should really open that up and check out. Like, okay, these are the books I've read, but then there's that sentimental value. Then yet again, that has been talked
Yeah,
in the minimalism documentary.
yeah, but then it's fine, I guess.
Exactly,
No,
exactly,
and apparently there are no set rules for it. It's
correct,
purely personal.
precisely.
Hey, but listen, my gateway into music was Iron Maiden. I guess that yours was Dio, or
Absolutely, it was. At the age of 4,
yeah.
that was Dio for me all
Wow,
the way in. And
wow.
talking about Iron Maiden, that was exactly my question right here. That you play, sir, in a lovely band as well called Maiden United.
Yeah, I did play in that, not anymore.
Ah,
Just
okay,
for getting.
okay, okay. So how did
Yeah.
that come about, and what was the story behind that?
Well, there was a story. A good my one of my best friends, Joey. He's a huge Iron Maiden aficionado, and he knows lots of people in the Iron, not so much of Iron Maiden themselves, but there was this Dutch Iron Maiden fan club day that was being organized,
Mm-hmm.
and he was asked, hey, because he's been playing in this Dutch Iron Maiden tribute band called Up the Irons for the last 20 years,
All right.
and he was asked, okay, I want you to play, but do something else, not just a normal tribute band. And he had the idea to rearrange some Iron Maiden songs into acoustic versions.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
And he asked me to join, and that was fun. I thought it was a one-off. But then we started talking, and it was the plan to you know to make an album, and we decided to rearrange the whole Peace of Mind album from start to finish, because
Nice.
that's my I have I don't know if you can tell, but I have
Oh
the
yes, we can see that.
Peace of Mind Eddie on my arm.
Mm-hmm.
First album that I ever bought, and it's also his. Oh, I'm gonna listen to some Iron Maiden tonight. Yes. Anyway,
Hell yes.
and we
Right.
had the idea to make an album and to do about 10 gigs.
Right.
Yeah, in the end, it totally derailed because we played the Download Festival, we played the Wacken Festival, we played the Carré. That's a huge theater in Amsterdam, like 1,200 people. We sold that out,
Right.
and it was insane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But for me personally, it was like I did 3 albums. I produced those albums, and it was huge fun. It was really great.
Right.
But after a while, I thought it was fun, and until there, and that was it for me personally. But he's still going strong,
That's
and
great.
he's releasing albums, and it's fun. And I go watch them, and sometimes I play with them. If it's not too far away, then I join in for a couple of songs. It's always hilarious. It
Right.
was it was one of those bands that it was perfectly fine to enter the stage before the first song already being slightly tipsy.
Ta-da! Right
Yeah,
on.
ta-da.
Yeah, yeah.
That added to the fun, I must
I
say.
I I can concur on that. I totally understand that. Yes, this is like,
Yeah,
releasing your childhood memories in a very relaxed way, and just having a good
exactly.
time, just having fun.
I would never get on stage being tipsy with Within Temptation. Never.
I understand that totally.
And it's not that I'm saying that I didn't take the whole Made in United thing not seriously, but it was just that vibe,
Right.
It was just, and we played, because I just mentioned Wacken and Download Festival, but
Right.
normally we played small bars, with 100 people or 200
Exactly.
people max,
Exactly.
and then it's fine, And we had this awesome singer called Damien Wilson. He's from the UK, and
Absolutely.
he's such a cool, one of the best frontmen I've ever seen. Who didn't drink though, but he was one of those guys. I always knew that, even if we as musicians suck so bad today, if we would have an off day like you can't imagine,
Hmm.
then still the audience would go home with a smile, because that guy, that
Yeah.
Damien Wilson, he such a great singer, such a great frontman, and he always had stories. Every night he had long stories, which weren't rehearsed, because every night I was also listening to him like, oh wow, oh really, really, So that was really entertaining.
Yeah, that's great. And of course, that is the gentleman who has been singing, used to sing in Threshold also, and that has been a band too.
Exactly.
That
Yeah.
hats off to. And funny enough, we'll get back to it, to the point that we were sitting in the bar. That how did we come to meet? And one of my colleagues and one of my friends that I know as well, and he recognized Ruud not from anywhere else but from Maiden United, and he went like, "Wait a minute, you're the guy who plays in Maiden United." It's like, what the hell? Like, okay, generally people come like, "Oh, you're the guitar player within Temptation," or like, for all we know.
Exactly.
It's like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
Maiden United right here. That's
Michael Salo. What's his last name?
Mikael Salo.
Salo, right?
Exactly.
Mikael Salo. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That was really fun. That was, I think it was in between Christmas and New Year's.
True that. That was
I was
2000 and yeah,
19.
just 2019, just about like
Yeah.
8 months ago or something like that. Indeed.
Yeah, not that long ago.
Indeed.
Yeah, I was in Finland with my girlfriend, and spending the holidays over there. And we were on the rocks,
Right.
and there were some clinics going on in between the changeover times of the bands that were playing downstairs.
Right.
And you were doing the clinic as well.
I had the guitar clinic over there. Yes. Right.
Yeah. And I thought, whoa, that guy's right hand. Whew, that's amazing. Jesus Christ.
Right hand,
What
he
the
means
fuck?
by guitar playing. I'm a guitar player too, for the new viewers, just to be clarifying things, because there's going to be a lot of viewers coming in who just only know you. They don't know me. So like, it's nothing to.
I need to I need to get used to the fact that this is not a typical musician channel thing.
Exactly.
So, yeah, good
There's
that you mentioned it.
Right. There's
So
going to
there
be.
was this clinic, yeah.
Yeah.
And Asim's right hand is phenomenal, and I
Thank
was
you.
looking at it like, whoa, holy crap, that's awesome. And then I remember that you showed the audience an exercise that that you would have to lift some fingers. And
Yeah. Right.
and since I'm a guitar player, now I can do it. But anyways, but I was doing it, and then I remember you saying, there's an intelligent guy.
Yeah. He could do it.
Yes,
Yeah.
quite intelligent.
Exactly. And that's how we
Sorry?
came to meet about. And of course, right after that, you stood by and you introduced yourself, and
Yeah.
That was just the beginning of our getting acquainted. And after that, we just stayed around the whole time and got to know each other.
Yeah. Your
And
girlfriend was there as well.
precisely.
And
And
that's when Mikael
then Mikael
walked
showed up as well, because his band was playing downstairs. There was a Horse Fest, which is a festival that happens nowadays every year in Helsinki, and it happens at On the Rocks. So his band was playing downstairs, and that, as just Ruud mentioned, that in between the changeovers, upstairs used to happen these guitar clinics or vocal clinic as well. That was at that time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then yeah, he just introduced, and I like I have not been a guy who have looked into the Within Temptations that I know, Within Temptation that I know every member or something like that. So that was a surprise to me as well. That what is Ruud doing in Finland? So that was a surprise. Like, and especially at the clinic, I got so confused because he said, "Yeah, yeah, I play. I'm a musician as well, and I'm a guitar player." As a gentleman and a humble person, Sir Ruud is. He did not come across a single bit like, "Yeah, yeah, well, you should be knowing me." And I was very humbled by his presence. That he was like, "Yeah, I'm a guitar player too." "Oh yeah, which band do you play in?" "Yeah, I play in Within Temptation." I'm like, "Ah, oh, hi, nice to meet you." So it was the beginning of our acquaintance. But then again, we did have a session when you came back to Finland after
Yes.
some time. And then we had a session here, right here in this room, which could be seen at Ruud's YouTube channel as well. So people, then you would understand what the right hand was meant by
Yeah,
Ruud
exactly.
particularly.
That's a good point. That's a good
Exactly.
point.
Ta
Yeah.
Taking that into account, I wanted to know that how, why did you think, if you ever were to think about, because this is something personally we discussed many times on our WhatsApp talks, that if you ever were to, whoa, that
Oh, what
just got
happened?
disconnected. What just happened? Okay, people, just hold on a second. I have no idea what's happening. This is yet again the problem of Discord. There we go, Sam. We are right back on the track.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so my question was if there ever comes a chance that you would like to move somewhere, which country would that be and why would that be?
If I would move somewhere,
Yeah,
then I guess it would be Finland.
right.
Yeah,
Bam.
I'm not saying that because I'm talking to a Finnish person. Well, I don't consider you as a Finnish person per se, but you've been
Yeah,
living over there.
right, right, right.
Um, Finland is a great country, temperature-wise. Something that whew, that would be really nice right now.
Precisely.
I don't know if you can hear my air conditioning going berserk, but it's
No, that's what
okay.
Discord is doing. Discord has this kind of like a noise gate. So,
Oh, seriously?
oh yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah. That's why I
Cool.
chose Discord over Skype, and many, many reasons why I
Ah,
chose Discord. But yes,
okay, makes sense.
right,
Um, yeah, the music scene over there is great. I remember that also last December, was it December? Yeah, I think so. That we watched the very last shows at Nostori.
precisely. Yes, it was December.
I was really flabbergasted by the level of musicianship in your country, especially the guitarists.
Right,
I was like, wow.
right,
And it has happened a couple of times over the years because I've been coming to Finland since 2005, I think already, on a regular basis. Uh, to hear my own music just on the radio. And in the
right,
Netherlands, back in the days, we were quite mainstream. Within Temptation was quite mainstream on the Dutch radio. Not so much anymore. But the Netherlands and Finland and Belgium maybe a little bit, but those were the only countries where they would play our music on the radio.
right, 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 right.
And yeah, I
It must have been
remember
a
that
surprise, right? To even hear that
definitely.
as a mainstream thing going on, because
Yeah,
that is what the Finland is about. Like we literally have uh, as metal music, not just rock or something, metal music as the mainstream music. So it's like, what?
yeah,
Prob-
that's great.
Definitely the only country in the world.
Yeah,
Right,
that's awesome.
exactly. So that brings me to the question of, so that would be the reason to come to Finland, the temperature and musicianship, of course, everything around it. But if it were not to be in Europe, because of course you are sitting at a very beautiful hub of Europe where the access going around as being in a band and being a touring band, it's much easier to go around in Europe. But from Finland, it always is pain because anywhere that you have to go, you need to first fly in, as particularly
Mm,
us, we always have to fly into Germany and start the tour from there so that it's in the middle.
yeah,
Or if we do start everything here in Finland, but then we fly off somewhere else to start the tour. So that's at
mm.
least the beautiful part of living, having that nice hub connections everywhere.
The Netherlands is quite central in that sense.
Right, 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 right. And
Yeah.
still, I believe, as expensive as Finland. So nearly.
Um, yeah, I think it. Well, alcohol-wise, you guys are. It's ridiculous.
Yes, exactly.
It's ridiculous.
I remember we went.
Here-
Sorry, we lost you there.
yeah.
We
What do you
lost you
remember?
there for a second.
Oh,
Yeah.
am I back?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Okay, cool.
So if you remember, like we
Oh,
went.
you remember that
Yes,
that something?
we went to have a few beers after the session we had in this studio,
Ah, yeah.
and then you're like, yeah, yeah, cool. Let's have some dinner as well, and let's have some drinks. And apparently, you and I, we both looked at the dinner menu, and we both looked at the drinks menu, and we were like, wow, okay, I think we'll stick with one of these.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, it's insane.
This
It's
is
insane.
insane amount. This is unfortunate, but this is how it is. Coming back to the music world, sir, I wanted to ask you a very interesting question, which you had the chance to do as being the biggest fan of Maiden. You had the chance with Within Temptation to play with Iron Maiden. How was that feeling? Like playing
Yeah,
with your
that,
idols or being like, were you able to meet them as well? Did you have some chit chat with them?
we played with them for the first time I think in 2005, so
Right,
15 years ago.
right,
I think they were doing their early days run of concerts,
right,
and I believe our very first gig with them was in Paris,
right.
together with Dream Theater. So it was
Aha.
us, Dream Theater, Shakir, no, some other band, then us, and
Hmm.
then Dream Theater, and then Iron Maiden.
Right,
And walking around backstage and seeing uh, Adrian's tuning room, those labels on the doors in their Iron Maiden script, those fonts.
right,
That
right,
was already something nice. And to see all the stage props behind the stage,
right,
Eddie and all these things, I was like, oh, holy crap, this is so much fun.
right,
And I think, yeah, that was that gig. Uh, it was a stadium, quite a lot of people,
right,
but I didn't care that much about it. But after a while, I looked at my guitar tech because I wanted to change guitars after a song which wasn't planned because I think it was something a little bit, there was something going on. I don't
right.
remember. So I needed to gesture to him that he needed to prepare a guitar, that I wanted to change guitars. And then I looked over at him, and then I saw Nicky McBrain, Iron Maiden's drummer. He was
Mhm.
standing there. And that's when all of a sudden, that's when I got nervous, like a little girl.
Right,
And
right, right,
then during an intermission or a section of the song that I wasn't playing, some choir shit going on, I
right.
went up to him and he grabbed my hand, he slapped my shoulder, he said, I think you guys are slamming.
Oh, slam in.
And he told me that he had a chauffeur waiting
Right.
because he really wanted to see one or two songs of us.
All right.
And that was one of those moments that I thought, this is really
Wow.
nice. And another time when I met Steve Harris, pretty much the same way.
Right.
And I remember that we played a download
Mm-hmm.
a couple of years later, and me and Sharon, our singer Sharon, we have a female singer. We were doing some interviews,
Mm-hmm.
and Steve Harris was also there. He was walking around doing some interviews, and when we see each other, he said, "Hey Ruud, how are you doing?" You know,
Wow.
he mentioned my name. I was like, "Ooh,
That
yeah,
is
that is
so
cool."
beautiful. That is such a beautiful experience. Like think about it. Like this is what I missed just the other days. I was talking to my girlfriend about the fact that the biggest regret I have that I was never able to meet Dio. I have seen him once live, and that was Walking with Heaven and Hell. and that was already in such a shit way because we were in the front row going to watch Dio in 2009 with Heaven and Hell. And while we are standing there, we are noticing that, oh my God, like, why aren't they prepping the stage? What the hell is happening?
Hmm.
And looking left and right, like the whole crew is on the stage, like they're dragging the things really easily, and looking at the clock, like there's only 10 minutes left. How is that possible? And right after 10 minutes, kaboom! The intro starts from the other stage. I was like, "You're kidding
What?
me! You're kidding me!" So the half of the concert it took for the at least 5-6 thousand people who were just flabbergated by it, just like, yeah, we made it to the front row. Everybody rushed to the other side of the stage, and that's where like half of the gig I don't remember much of that gig at all. That's the most.
How was that possible?
I don't know. They changed the stage and they kind of like maybe have announced it somewhere, but of course we had the brochure, like the pamphlets, and the whole
Yeah,
time period was
yeah,
written there. And it's still 2009. You don't have the access to the internet like the way in these
Mm.
days, so we still did not know what's happening. So that's my biggest
Oh,
regret. Absolutely
I
biggest
can
regret. So, but like for you to at least being able to do that must have been like, wow, right?
Yeah, great. And we were supposed to do 3 gigs with them this year in Poland and Spain and Portugal. Portugal.
Portugal.
So Portugal. So of course that didn't happen, but it's moved up to next year.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's another chance right there. Talking
Yeah.
talking about the live shows and talking that you mentioned that there was a stadium show. What's the biggest show that you have done with
I think
any band? I believe I know the answer, but I would love the viewers to know.
yeah, the biggest show with Temptation obviously was 5 years ago in Poland, the Woodstock Festival.
Oh yeah,
And that's a free festival. That's why there are so many people, and I
right.
believe it's the third biggest festival on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you have the Rock in Rio thing, and there's another huge festival, and then you have Woodstock in Poland.
Right.
Free festival. We were playing there with Dream Theater, and they estimated between and the gap is quite big between 500,000 and 750,000. Let's say it's 400,000.
Oh my
Even then,
God.
it's the biggest, or 300,000.
Right.
Those are exceptional large amounts of people.
Could you
And
see the end, bro? Could
no,
you? Yeah.
no, you saw just the the rounding of the earth, and there were still people.
Oh my God. How was
Yeah,
that
there was.
experience? Like,
I remember that we play with in ears, as you guys do as well. I think.
yes. Right.
Yeah. So for the people who don't know what in-ears are, it's basically headphones um, which can make you listen to the mix of your band.
Right.
But you are totally close, so the only thing you hear is the mix. But for that
True.
show, I knew, okay, I really need to have the experience of having, now let's say 300,000 people, yell.
Mm-hmm.
So I took one out, which isn't that great playing wise, but I was like, yeah, fuck it, this is a once in a lifetime experience,
Right.
probably. And I remember that I walked on stage, and with the lights, and that thing, the moment that all the people, and that was deafening. That was amazing. That was really nice. I
That
remember that.
that makes me come to the other question, which is all interlinked now.
Mhm.
What is the
You are a
most?
good interviewer, I think.
Sorry.
You are a great interviewer.
Thank you. Thank you very much. This is actually my second interview, and thank you for
Oh,
being here. And that's like really humbles me very much for
yeah, man.
the getting that compliment from you. So that's pretty nice. As you know, you have given so many interviews. That's good. But I'm learning. I'm learning. I'm trying to get the Twitch thing going as well, and you know, we'll get to the point. I still need you to come around much often, and we're gonna be
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
some things together as well, which we'll get to.
Okay.
But thank you. This craziness of the gigs makes me question you that those are certain gigs that you can always remember, right? there are gigs that you remember which were the biggest, which were like the most memorable gigs. But then there are gigs which were the most chaotic ones. Which one was that comes to your head that goes like poof for you?
I think there are many. There are a couple.
That's
We
bound to
once played,
happen. There's like in our
of
field, it's
course,
bound to happen.
statistically,
Right.
it's when we do a lot of gigs. There are some weird gigs in between, and like you said, 9 out of 10 gigs. I don't know how it is with you, but you do the gig and then you think, yeah, it was a good gig, nothing wrong with it, but not very memorable,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
unless you have the really great ones or the shitty ones. But the shitty ones, they when you remember the shitty ones, it's also fun. I think. Well, we played at the Download Festival in England. It's a heavy metal festival in England, um, and back in the day, we still had a different system for our backing tracks.
Right.
Since within Temptation, music has a lot of choirs and orchestras, which obviously can be played live. We have this backing track system which plays the music, those orchestra and choir tracks simultaneously to our thing. So we have this click track which gives the tempo, so we are all in sync. But
Right.
for some reason that didn't work, and I think it was our first time at the Download Festival.
Right.
And have you played there with Winter
No,
Sun?
not yet. Not yet.
Okay, but
One day. It's a pretty
it's a
big festival.
yeah, it's a pretty big, prestigious English festival. But our system wasn't working, and time was ticking, and it was like, yeah, it's not working, it's not working. Yeah, showtime in 5 minutes, it's not working.
Right.
Okay, well, in the end, we decided we were already 10 minutes late to just play 4 songs.
Right.
We were only scheduled to play half an hour, so
Right.
to play 4 songs without backing track and just
Oh
play like
man.
a rock and roll band.
Oh wow.
But then I remember that there was one song which had this huge intermezzo with choirs and shit that would
Oh.
come basically only from the backing track.
Right.
So, and while playing it, we all thought, holy shit, how are we going to solve this little problem? And to the drummer, just keep playing.
Oh,
Yeah, and we play this riff. Yeah, cool. So that was back to the rock and roll thing. That was quite stressful.
Oh damn. Well, that I can relate to certainly.
Yeah, you probably recognize
Oh
it.
man. Oh man. So that's the one that you remember the most, which has been the most problematic. But
yeah, and the most funny one
yeah, exactly.
was our CD presentation, album presentation of our 2005 album,
Right.
The Silent Course, and we were playing at the Bataclan in Paris, which has a completely different, meaning nowadays. I'm
Precisely.
afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were playing there, and it was being filmed and broadcasted over, I don't know, 10, 15 cinemas over Europe.
Oh wow.
Yeah, at the same time. So it was all live, and we knew that what we are playing, people in Oslo are seeing in a cinema.
Right.
It's not hundreds of cinemas, just
Okay.
in countries, just one. But it was a cool thing. And the Bataclan has balconies, and there were people.
Right.
And during the last song, our other guitar player said, "Hey, you know what? After this instrumental intermezzo when we're not playing, we're gonna walk up to the balcony, and that's gonna be so cool." And I thought, yeah, let's do it. So I walked up to, I got backstage through a door, and I saw the staircase, and
Right.
I kicked in the first door that I saw. It was a restroom. I walked further up. Next door I kicked in was an office, and then there was another door, and I kicked it in. No, I didn't break it, but I just kicked it open because I was holding my guitar and shit. Yes, there were people. Awesome. And those people were like, whoa, this is so cool. But in the meantime, I saw that Robert, that other guitar player who suggested that little idea, he was on stage. So I was like, I'm here all by myself. That's weird. Ah, well, people seem to enjoy it. This is fun. So I played it. And then I knew, okay, the final chords are about to happen, and then we need to take our bow and say thanks and
Right.
blah blah.
Right.
So let's go back. But of course, the
The
door,
door is
which I had,
locked.
that is locked because otherwise people would come to the backstage. So like, fuck it. So I played the last chord, and and downstairs they were like, "Hey, where's Ruud? Where's Ruud?" And I was like, "Yo,
Right
I'm
here.
here." And it took 15 to 20 minutes before someone opened that door.
Oh my God.
They had forgotten all about me.
Oh,
So I took my guitar, put it in a corner. I started to sign some autographs,
right,
take some
right, right.
pictures. People just sat down. I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah, having a good time. Just chilling around. Not no worries at all. Jesus, that must have been like
yeah."
a. Oh man, like it's
Feels
just
so stupid.
especially. I mean, of course, it would have been more. It would have been amazing, like if two of you together would have been there up there. But like, of course, Robert didn't. Robert didn't follow his own memo.
No, maybe his door was locked. I don't know. I
Yeah,
never, we never talked about it actually. Ah, well, whatever.
yeah.
But that's one of the funny stories.
Well, that's great. Okay, that comes to another question.
Yeah.
What do you think was your highlight of being on the stage? Like, was I don't think that could be compared to the fact of playing in Poland in front of like eye-catching, limitless distance of people. But what would be the highlight that you would say, like, yes, done it, bucket list checked?
Bucket list checked. That's a very good question. Mm, yeah, maybe Wembley Arena is one of those things,
Wow,
which is awesome.
right?
But maybe the very first time that I played the O13, and you know the O13, do you know the O13?
Oh,
It's
13
in my
and
hometown in
yes,
Tilburg.
absolutely.
Yeah,
The
nice venue.
absolute fantastic catering. I still remember it.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Yeah,
That one.
right.
And the O13, super nice venue in my hometown. And the very first time that I played there with Temptation in a sold out,
Mm.
place, and seeing some old friends from former bands who decided that music wasn't their thing, that they wanted to keep it as a hobby or whatever, and some family members and some old friends. Yeah, those are the moments that you think like, yeah, man, this is cool.
Yeah,
This is
right,
cool. Wasn't maybe the biggest show,
right, right.
but
I understand. Yeah. But your
yes,
mom and dad were there,
yes,
so
yes, definitely.
they realized, okay, after all, we didn't do the mistake of giving him the electric guitar.
Exactly, exactly.
So that certainly was the highlight. Let's say it that
Yeah.
way.
And what was yours?
Mine was Wacken Open Air 2018. The reason for that is that, in 2006, I saw Winter Sun from the first row in
With
Wacken
your
Open
uncle?
Air. Sorry? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I saw the band from the first row in 2006. And then in 2018, I have jumped to being part of the band and playing on even the major stage. So that
Yeah.
was the most epic time for me. That was just
Yeah.
out of the charts. I actually broke down right after we stopped the last song. I bowed down, and the moment I left the stage, I returned back to the stage, and I was like, what the hell? Because, of course,
Yeah.
when you start the show, then you're in the zone. And a couple of my viewers here have been at that venue as well. And one of the viewers, particularly, was right in front also. And
Oh,
I remember every single moment of that concert. But then you are in the zone of the performance. You can't let that happen, you know? It's like, what the hell?
mm,
And
mm, mm.
then after that, that was the highlight for me. Like, I think that
Yeah.
after that, I said, okay, bucket list. Because I promised myself, actually, I have it every day and night right here. A wristband from Wacken 2009.
Oh,
This is from the Dio time. I had Wacken 2006 as well, the wristband, but unfortunately, one band that I don't want to name at the Bandcamp session forcefully broke the wristband because it used to be on my hand. Um, just the fact that he said like, "You don't need the band. You will play there one day." There was a lot of bit of alcohol involved as well. So, in a goodwill, he did that. But
Mm-hmm.
I lost that 2006 band with me. But I
Mm-hmm.
kept 2009, and I flew in with this one. Had it in my pocket on the stage as well.
Ah, wow,
So
cool.
that was the biggest thing for me, that the dreams do come true, because I promised myself after 2006 one day I will play on that stage. But what happened was even the bigger stage, because there are two main stages, one on the left, one on the right. At that time, they were called Harder and Louder,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
now they have changed it. I don't even remember the name of the stage that we played at, but like no, we they yeah, something. So back then was the left side. If you're watching from the audience side, it was the left one. And Winterson opened Wacken Open Air at that time, the day. And then the next time was the right side stage, which is considered to be the main stage. So
Mm.
that's a pretty beautiful thing that has happened to me in my life. But hey, that
That's
that
awesome.
that's a
No, but that's
motivation
great.
still that keeps me going. That hell yeah, everything that I said I would love to do. But one regret is still there regarding Dio. But he's in our hearts with
Mm.
everything, and that's the thing. And that reminds me, we discussed about that you wanted to do a tour in Netherlands as well with the Dio tribute band.
Yep, and then Corona happened.
Yeah. Then
Yeah,
that
so
happens.
yeah, no, it was a project with Stef Brox, drummer from Textures, and Rob van der Loo, bassist of Epica, and Menno Gootjes, guitar player of Focus,
Mm-hmm.
and Martijn Spierenburg, keyboardist of Within Temptation,
Right.
and JC Kuipers, singer who sang with Arian. And am I forgetting someone? No, that's it. So it was a great group of people,
Right.
good professionals, good musicians, and we were supposed to do like 8 gigs in May,
Right.
very concentrated.
Right.
Just some clubs, small clubs, but of course it was the 10th anniversary of his passing,
Right.
so that would have been a perfect moment to pay tribute to him.
Yes. Would have been definitely nice. And
Yeah,
we
and
talked
now it's
about it right before you left.
yeah, exactly. I was last time I was in Finland was February, I think.
Correct.
That's when we talked about it. But also that tour has been postponed until December of 2021, even. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's a long run. That's a long.
yeah.
Maybe I
I hope that.
definitely need to stop by for that.
Oh yeah, sure. Why not?
2021. Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah,
I hope we can pass
yeah.
2020 for now. I mean,
So
that's already a struggle.
can we erase this year, please?
Yes, please. Wipe it out of our memories as well. Bring the Men in Black back to
Oh yeah, with the thingy.
exactly.
Hey, listen, I really need to pee. Do you have a song that you can play for the people?
Absolutely. I can interact with my people right here, and we can have you back in a split second.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a nice hot bath and stuff, and then I'll
Sure.
be back in like 45 minutes.
Sure. Absolutely.
I'll see you in a minute. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you see, we are having a good time. And due to these technical difficulties, it's been crazy. Now I can get back to thinking, no, now I can get back to reading your lovely comments as well. Thank you very much, all the follows here. Thank you so much for being in the stream. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm definitely enjoying it, and we are having a good time with Ruud. So, looking at your chats, you guys have been busy around here. I've been so concentrated on chatting with Ruud that I didn't have time to read. Oh, Gaming Metal Mouse says 3 main stages now. It was harder stage 2018, I think so. Didn't we play it louder? No, no, we didn't play it louder. We played it harder. That's true. Faster, harder, louder. Louder is the last one, which is uh, so faster from your side as you are the viewer. Faster, harder is in the middle. Louder is here. Correct. Thank you, Gaming Metal Mouse, for that. And talking about Asim as a prime example of dream big. I'm not the only one. Actually, it's a reminder for me that I consider myself to be the one to think that yes, it is a great reminder or exemplary thing that has happened in my life as well. But there are many examples out there. That's just actually proves the point that you need to keep yourself focused and you need to really be out there working really, really hard for it every day and night. Many people say, like, yeah, it's a chance, it's the matter of luck, or, it's a chance, it's a game of chance. No, it's not. The opportunities do come by if you just keep your head in it. You keep on going, and not give up a single second. Look at Dio. I mean, like, Dio's breakthrough in his career was at the age of 33. Then he didn't have a breakthrough. That was with Rainbow. And then he was kicked out of Rainbow as well, and he had nowhere to go. And then he made his own band, Dio. And look at that. That did like Madison Square Garden 2 times, selling it out. Like that's a place that, the hell. So I mean, things like that. That's that's for sure. You know, that's an example for everybody. Orenko too. Thank you very much for bringing Scooter in the gameplay. Faster, louder, harder. It's a German festival. Ah, it's harder, louder, faster.
What's that?
And Mr. Rude is right back. Now, one of the lovely gentlemen that I have, Orenko too, who has been uh, the moderator with me to make everything happen in Twitch. He just wrote that we were discussing about Wacken open air stages, and he said like we talked about that there are three main stages: faster, harder, and louder. And he said,
Yeah.
"Yeah, that's a Scooter song, faster, harder, and louder."
Is it
I,
Scooter?
yeah, he wrote that. These are
The
isn't that Scooter
German.
lyrics?
Okay.
I, oh, we are
There you're wrong.
out of the gameplay again. Here we go. There we are.
Yeah.
How was your pizza? Did you have a good time?
Yes, it was great. I forgot to wash my hands, but who cares?
Oh,
No, I did not. I always wash my hands. Especially now.
Corona.
Yeah, exactly.
Now
Yeah.
getting to the point regarding what I said that I would be needing you in Twitch as well, which is gonna be happening. Well, either it could be happening when you're gonna come to Finland or I'm gonna come to Tilburg. We'll see about that. Because I know for a fact that you, sir, are a gamer.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know if I would consider myself a gamer.
Right?
Not probably not like your audience.
No, I mean like
Uh,
well, you love to play games, so we
I
are the game.
I really enjoy playing games,
Exactly.
and I'm a PlayStation gamer. So I don't know if that's sacrilege, because what I
Was
always understand
was
from
nice
real.
Was nice to meet you, Rude. I gotta go.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
No, am I wrong by thinking that if you are a real gamer, then you are a PC gamer, or is that not the
I think
case?
many people consider that. I don't care about it. Like I think it's about game is a game. It's like the same way if you're a guitar player, so whatever guitar you play, so what?
Mm.
I think that's
Mm.
the conception that we have as well. We have made those, oh, I love Apple. I love
Mm.
MacBooks and I am a
Mm.
PC guy. So I don't think so. I love playing games on PC. Sorry, PS. I had PS1, the small white one.
Oh, really?
The next version, the first one was the gray one. Then they released in another edition, so I used to have that.
Yeah, I jumped in at the PS3. I'm from '76.
Oh yes, sir.
So I remember that my dad got, I don't even remember what brand console. Was it Atari or something?
Yeah, of
I
course.
do remember playing Pong. Was one of the first games.
True.
Was
That was
this line?
Atari. That was Atari. Yes.
Atari, yeah. It was a line and a little,
Mm-hmm.
square, which was supposed to be a ball, but it was a square, and that was boop,
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 boop.
and that was it. And there's a funny story. There was also this game, and the joystick was like a turning knob. It wasn't like a stick,
Yeah.
but it was a turning knob. So this way the line would go up, and that way the line would go down. So you would just play like
Okay.
that. And there was also this game which had this little car, with a ramp, and it had to jump over things, but you also had to brake. So it was this thing, and if you would accelerate too much, it
Hmm.
would leave the screen, and
Oh wow.
it was game over.
Hmm.
And I remember that my grandma was visiting one day, and I'm talking. This must have been 1980 or
Right.
something,
Okay.
1981, something like that. I don't know. Uh, but anyway, I accelerated too much with my little car, and it left the screen. And my grandma walked into the kitchen to see if that car was lying there somewhere. No, I kid you not.
Oh
It was
wow.
literally it.
That's
Yep.
priceless. That's
Yeah.
priceless. Oh, that's
Old
pretty.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Of course. I mean, like it's hard to fathom like what technology, of course, is. I mean, think about if you bring them to the technology of today, it's gonna be like, what? What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And back then, it was only for maybe 5, 6, 7 years that it was common for people to have actual televisions.
Yeah.
Before that, it was still a very luxurious
True.
product.
I mean, in my family, my mother used to tell stories that in their vicinity of their where they used to live, when the TV got like came to the market, there was only one household that a or that was able to afford it, and when
Mm.
they did, the people literally used to come from distances to watch the TV, and they used to have gatherings. All of them sit in front of that one program. And in my country, where I'm from, Pakistan, so basically we had just one broadcasting channel, and it used to only be broadcasted for 1 hour at that time. What my mother used to tell me the stories about, and then everybody used to gather there from 9 p.m. till the 10 p.m. session, and everybody like quiet and watching. That's the stories which I was told. I don't know
Yeah.
much about it
Yeah. Yeah.
because I am the end of the 80s guy. Like I'm from 89, so
Yeah.
I have much
Yeah.
to learn.
Simpler times, and anyways,
Yeah.
I might come back to
By
that
the
later.
way,
But
did you know that Atari, who used to work for Atari and who had a hand behind the game that you mentioned about, the ping
I have
pong?
no idea.
Steve Jobs, sir.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
He started off with
Okay.
Atari.
I did not know.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure if he started off with Atari, but he did have a hand in Atari regarding that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's
Does
where
Atari still exist?
I
I don't
think.
know that much about video games and
Not,
stuff.
not so sure though. I mean, my first ever console playing was on Sega Mega Drive. That's where it used to be Contra, games like those, Street Fighters, and things like that. Those were the
Mm.
times that I kind of like started into. And at that time was, the new beginnings of these PCs, these 386, 486, 586, or
Yeah.
models like that. And then came Pentium 1, Pentium 2, Pentium.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Those were the days. And then I still remember those, old school games like which I did plan to play. I just had played a couple of weeks ago. Duke Nukem 3D, that's a PC
yeah.
game. And Wolfenstein used to be one of them as well. So old school ones. But then there was a big jump from getting into the other PC games and so on. So the most of my gaming had been on PC, but I have played on PS and Xbox as well. But you have not played
Mm.
Xbox.
I have. Yeah. My next thing was that I got a Commodore 64
Oh
when I
wow.
was about 10.
Right.
My dad also bought it from that same brother who sold him the keyboard.
Right.
So he was dumping his shit that he didn't want anymore on into my lap.
Right.
Unlike the keyboard, I spent so much time playing the Commodore 64.
Hmm.
Games like Last Ninja, oh man, I loved it, and Aztec Challenge and Paperboy and Pitfall and
Right.
Skate or Die, Project Zero, Maniac Mansion,
Right.
yeah, all those games.
Damn.
And I remember that Last Ninja was definitely one of my favorite games, and I spent evenings, hours on end playing that game. And 3 years ago, I was feeling nostalgic, and I was checking a playthrough on YouTube about The Last Ninja,
Right.
and the game from start to finish takes 20 minutes, and spent, I spent evenings on that together with a friend of mine. And if
Right.
I would have figured out something, that I would have to throw this flaming bottle to this alligator, I would call him and say, "Hey, you need to stand in that corner and then aim
Yeah.
it when blah 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 that and that. Oh, I'm gonna try it. Okay, call you back." You know, back
Awesome.
with the internet. That was
Yeah, yeah.
89.
Oh,
That
wow.
was 80, 89.
Right.
That
My
that
brothers
that
actually told me a lot of stories regarding Commodore 64 as well because they had it too. But I was not from that, era basically. So I have, well, I sort of am, but it kind of like they gave it away or something like that happened when I got to, well, basically when my senses worked and I still remember. So, yeah, that
yeah.
do you have some access to Commodore 64 games somehow with an emulator or so on?
Well, no, I checked it 2 weeks ago, but it was too complicated to install on my Mac. But now they sell these Commodore 64 Mini and the
Hmm.
bigger one, and it just goes with a HDMI cable to your TV, and it comes with a whack load of games.
Oh, okay.
But for some reason, it came with 64 games, and for some reason, all games that I never played back in the day. So
No
the reason
doubt. Yeah.
why I would buy a thing like that is pure for nostalgic reasons,
Right.
because I'm not that interested in playing a new, for me, a new Commodore 64 game. That's not
Precisely.
fun. It's just to
Precisely.
relive your own memories, of course.
Correct.
But
Correct.
yeah, I might do it anyways. It's not that expensive.
That
Fun.
would be
But
that would be fun.
after that, I started playing guitar.
Mm.
So that's when the gaming thing, you know,
Went
that
out.
that
Right. Right.
so I didn't play it at all anymore. And then I bought the first Xbox in 2004,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
something like that. Yeah,
Nice.
2004, I would say. That's when I bought an Xbox. And then I didn't play. I played it for 2 or 3 years, and then I bought a PS3 and then a PS4, and now I'm gonna probably buy a PS5
Nice.
when it comes out.
Right.
And
And
yeah,
then
occasionally it's
then we're gonna be having dual plays. We'll see what happens. But my question remains: what are the games that you're playing nowadays, and what games do you like to play?
I just finished The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, you finished it!
Yeah,
Holy shit! We just were talking about it like a few weeks ago, right?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Interesting.
Corona,
Oh yeah.
nothing to do.
What to do? Right. 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 Right.
So what do you do
That's
except
it.
for drink beer and play video games? But
Right.
I had one, and I played just before that that Spider-Man game was fun,
Right.
and no, I really like those games that are like movies,
Mhm.
but every decision that you make has its, you know, dictates
A
the
new
rest of the game.
story. Yeah.
Exactly. So
Mm.
like Heavy Rain, that was maybe for me the first game that I played that worked like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Beyond Two Souls from the same. I don't know which. Uh, Quantum, I think.
Okay.
Quantum something. Anyways, and Detroit Become Human. That's the same. It's another game from the same company, and
Okay.
it's all games. It's like a huge movie, but you have to make decisions, and so you have like 6 different endings of the
Right.
game.
Okay. Okay.
That's what I really enjoy,
Right. Right. Right.
and I really enjoyed the Batman trilogy, the Arkham City, and Arkham Knight, of course, the third one. I
Mm.
don't remember the first name, but those games I really like. Oh, and on PS3, Dead Space, the
Ah,
three Dead Space games.
that would be nice.
Fun.
There's a new one
So
that just came out a few weeks ago as well. Month ago, I think. Which
Dead
has the
Space?
Dead Space? Yeah, they have. Or is it getting released or so on? They have the Walking Dead actor in it.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, cool. Check it out.
that'd be interesting. I'm not sure. I just saw it on the Steam because I have the access to. PC gaming.
Mhm.
But as you already saw, my equipment is not so PC
What
gaming
about you?
related.
What do you play?
Sorry.
What do you play?
Well, nowadays I've been playing. I started off streaming with the game called Subnautica. I think you remember we talked about it. It's the
Yeah,
game. It's an
yeah.
open world game, and the ship it crashes into a planet. It's completely water. It's completely ocean, and then you need to survive. So it's a survival game. That's what I started off the streaming, at least Twitch thing. But then I've been playing. We have been playing this another survival game called Green Hell, which is quite nice as well. That's starting to uh, historians, or let's say it's a couple that goes into one Amazon. They go into the Amazon to check on one tribe and things like that. So it's a very interesting survival game with that too. But personally, then we have been playing Counter Strike,
Hmm?
Global Offense, so shooter games. But I've been more into when I want to play alone. I'm more into these strategic games. Like
Mm.
I've played a lot of Commandos games, or Red Alert, for instance, used to be one of my favorite games as well. Red Alert 2, and things like that. And of course, I love Metal Gear Solid, Phantom
Oh
Pain,
yes,
Witcher 3.
yeah,
That's my favorite game too. And so those are two games which I need to revisit once I have better equipment. That would be good. And of course, my friend, when I used to live with my friend back in 2000 and I think 11 or something like that, when GTA 5 came, and then he had an
oh,
Xbox, and we both went to the store, like bought the CD. Oh, but no, sorry, he went to the store, he bought the CD because we were talking about it, and he was like, "Dude, I just gotta do it." And I went out to have a dinner, with a couple of my friends, and then I was like, "Dude, how about we come over to the apartment?" He said, "Nah, man, it's not possible. I just bought the game. I want to play the game. Like I've been waiting for it for a long time." The GTA 5 was that, and so a couple of games roundabout here and there. But the games that you mentioned, certainly, uh, the Batman was something in my list as well that I wanted to play, but it requires nice system. So maybe at one point I would be going to a console as well, like help with anything else. But PC gamers are always like, there's nothing better than PC.
yeah. I totally believe that, but I've never played on a PC. I don't even own a PC, and maybe that's why I'm
Mm.
like, yeah, to spend so much money on a PC gaming thing,
Right,
and I'm not gaming that much. Once when I get into a game, I spend some time, but I finished The Last of Us 2 weeks ago, and I haven't played a game ever since.
right, right,
So
right.
that's why I would not call myself a real gamer, but someone who enjoys to play an occasional game.
Precisely, precisely. That was my way of mentioning that
Like
point.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
I
I've
want to
spent
play that.
so much time in that, and it was awesome. But when it's done,
Yeah.
yeah, it's done, and then I'm fine.
Right.
And I don't play online that much. I played
Right.
Modern Warfare,
Uh huh.
um,
Okay.
the Call of Duty Modern Warfare, like 10 years ago, and Battlefront, the Star Wars game online. But I fucking hated to be killed by Brandon 2006 every time,
Oh,
being killed by
that's
the 14-year-old motherfucker, and that pisses me off. And I know that I'm too old and too slow and too like headshot and fucking hell, that pisses me off.
this actually. I wanna let the people know about this thing. Viewers, you were in my very first few streams. Who were there? I believe you might remember. I had a phone call because we were trying to fix problems. This was my very first stream, and I went on streaming from Orenko's account. Like I was in his stream as well. So I had a phone call with somebody, and that was with Ruud. So we were discussing about things. He introduced me to the loop
Oh,
back. So those were
oh
my
yeah, I remember.
first days. And you were telling me about I am really pissed out at this Brandon, like this
Oh,
14-year-old motherfucker.
yeah, the motherfucker. Yeah,
Now I recall because that name triggered me. Like, holy shit, yeah, yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
So
I
multiplayer
mean,
is
I
not
was,
your cup of tea.
Sorry?
Multiplayer is not your cup of tea.
I really enjoy it. But I'm definitely not good at it.
Right,
And
right, right.
it's absolutely not that I take myself too seriously,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I don't call myself a gamer.
I
Because once you start to call yourself a gamer, then every time that you get killed hurts. But if you call yourself someone who enjoys to play a video game, then it doesn't matter that much, unless you get killed by Brandon 2006 times in a fucking row,
If
and that's
Brandon,
when
you're
it's
watching, if you're watching, you know,
Brandon 2006 or
Brandon.
whatever. I don't know. I make up that name obviously, but it's usually those silly names with a year that you know. Ah, okay, he's only 14. Yeah.
Right. But that brings me to a question, which is regarding games as well. I heard some breeze came from Netherlands to Helsinki and passed through my ears and my eyes that said you were involved somehow in a project regarding a game which will be released in 2021. Please tell, what was that all about?
Yes, and the breeze that actually came through Israel,
Oh, okay,
from Israel through the Netherlands to Helsinki.
right.
Now it's this game, this upcoming game called Of Bird and Cage, and apparently is the very first type of game that unlocks music um, by playing the game. And what I understood is that it's also kind of a movie-ish game in the sense that you need to make decisions and stuff like that, and that
Mm-hmm.
unlocks certain storylines. But certain actions also unlock songs, heavy metal songs.
Interesting.
And what those guys have been doing, it's an Israeli team, Capricia, they're called,
Uh-huh.
and I've been contacted by them 6 or 7 years ago already.
Mm-hmm.
So that has been a very long ongoing thing. Um, and I recorded all my guitars last year, and it's a 2 hour album
Okay.
with a lot of songs, 16, 17, 18 songs.
Wow.
And we have people like Cobra Page from Cobra and the Lotus, Ron Thal from who used to be Guns N' Roses, Sons of
Right, right.
Apollo, Rob van der Loo, Epica. I do quite some projects with him. Um, great musicians and great music.
Right.
And I've done 2 gigs with them in Sweden and Poland. And yeah, I haven't played it yet, but during those gigs, I saw some game footage and some gameplay and stuff. Sounds very interesting. It's apparently it's a unique thing,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's still in development
Right. Right.
and it will
Oh,
be released next year.
well, that's
But
epic.
that's
That's
yeah.
pretty.
So if you're for all the viewers, if you're into heavy metal or the heavier style of music, and you are into games with a nice storyline, emotional storyline, then that's definitely something that you should check out.
Definitely could be something to indeed check out. Maybe we might bring it to the stream. Who knows? That'd be
Ah, cool.
that would be cool. Indeed, that's great. Ruud, I have to say thank you so very much for coming to the stream. I don't want to take much of your time as well, but there are still a few questions for me to go, which I
Yeah,
highly
sure.
uh
I have beer and it's nice and cool in my
oh
little
that's
studio,
that
so
that is
I'm perfect.
brilliant. Because most important and most above all, I would love to talk about For All We Know. That's
Mm-hmm.
Ruud's solo project. And I would love to know that how did it come about and how did you come to make those beautiful masterpieces that you did? And
Thank you.
what is the future plan of the band?
Yeah, for all we know, that's a project with a little bit more progressive rock, progressive metal kind of vibe thing. I've recorded quite some albums in my career now, and some of which have been extremely successful. Um, and I'm absolutely super proud of each and every one of them. But I never had one album that I fully made myself,
Mhm.
and that's something that I always wanted. I always said that at the moment that I'm on my deathbed, when I'm 84,
Right.
that I want to have at least one album in my hands that I made completely myself. Which doesn't mean that I'm a dictator, which doesn't mean that no one else can have ideas, but
Right.
at
Right.
least that is how I wanted it to be. And because normally, you know that as well as I do, it's always compromising when you're in a band or whatever, or if you're a session player, you don't have anything to say about how the end result will be.
Right.
And that's something that I did. That was my primary goal, and my secondary goal was, since I financed both, I have two albums out, both albums myself. My secondary goal was that I would at least recoup all the expenses,
Right.
that it only cost me time and calories. I didn't make any money from it,
Right.
um, which is fine. And yeah, the future, I'm with all this time on my hands, I'm thinking, yeah, maybe I should try to come up with some new music. On the other hand, I can't help but feel to get stressed out by it for some reason.
Mhm.
I don't know how you feel, Asim, but with all this Corona time on my hands thing, and all the other musicians on Instagram and Facebook, everyone is like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing this project, I'm doing this project," and everyone is just like super busy,
Mhm.
and I'm like, "Wow, yeah, I keep myself occupied, no
Right.
problem." But sometimes I feel the pressure that, since all the musicians are so productive and shit like that, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I need to be productive as well," and that sometimes stresses me out. But maybe that.
But that's on the other hand, like you being the world touring artist, at the end of the day, I think Corona could be a breather as well. Just be like, oh, relax, or finally kind of like just how many times it happens in a musician's life as well that we're just like sitting and doing nothing, basically. So, not just musicians, but for a creative person.
Yeah,
I'm talking about any artist, basically painters
yeah,
or anybody, software designers or anything. It's
yeah,
very difficult, and especially for you, you travel a lot when you already had a lot of tours booked, a lot of shows booked, and tours booked that has been postponed. So now when you have
no,
the
that's absolutely true. On the other hand, and that's maybe why I think that now is the time to create another album,
right,
because once when innovation starts to get busy again,
right,
then I won't have time anymore. And
right,
sometimes that's something that stresses me out. On the other hand, I know that I won't have any gig until May,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
if May already happens.
Hopefully, fingers
So
crossed.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna slowly start to maybe release an EP. It doesn't have to be a full album with 12 songs, of course.
right,
Maybe 5 songs. It would be nice, since everything is being done digitally, anyways.
right, right, right.
Yeah,
And you
I,
have the home studio as well, so that's the beauty of it.
exactly. I
Right.
don't need. Yeah, I'm autonom. How do you say that in English?
Mm.
Is that a word? Autonom, autonomous? Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Autonomous,
Yeah, I
yes.
can do whatever I want. The
Right,
only thing is I can't sing, but I can program my drums, which will be recorded later. But
right.
hey, how's your single going through
Oh
Cult Club?
yeah, we released the single on Friday. It's been quite interesting because people were expecting something different, and we provided them something different. And it's the game of it's the hide and seek kind of a thing going on in between us and the public. But that was the whole agenda behind it. It's been good. The um, what should I say? The feedback had been positive, mostly positive. Those who had been not.
Was that the first outing of True Cult Club?
This
As
was the
in the first.
first single. Yeah, the first single of
Okay.
True Cult Club, precisely.
Have you maybe experienced that some of your fans, of the Winter Sun fans, expected it to be Winter Sun ish,
Completely,
and
that's
that
the
they were,
case. Yeah,
yeah,
they they certainly had the expectations that it would be more metal orientated, and
Mm,
something, because that's the picturization that we projected in the first place. Because the whole
mm,
idea behind the band, if you remember, we discussed about, is the provocation to kind of like
mm,
not be stuck in that tunnel vision and open yourself to not read a book or not pick up a book from a store by its cover, or do not pick a band as well by its cover,
mm,
but like to really get in depth of things. So that was the whole
mm.
idea behind it. And that's what the people were expecting, because true cult, it's more black metal related. And of course, we all the musicians which are in
Oh,
the
yeah,
band
yeah.
are having the heavy metal background. So it already became a projection that there's gonna be something really, really dark, heavy and stuff.
Mm,
And then boom, it's electronic based,
mm.
innovative rock is what we call it. It's a
Yeah,
blend of
I
everything.
really liked it.
Well, that's
I
really
really
good to.
liked it.
Thank you so much.
What I always say, because I experienced the same thing with For All We Know, because people, when they expected it to also be this female fronted gothic metal thingy.
Right, right, right.
And what I always tell them is, okay, imagine you have the chef who works in a restaurant, who prepares 5 days a week, uh, like 20 different dishes for his boss, because that's on the menu. Every day that's on the menu, and he prepares 20 different dishes, pre-courses and main course or whatever. And then during the weekend, or usually on Mondays, that's when chefs are off, I guess. Some friends of him come over, and his wife is there, and he decides to cook a nice meal.
Right.
Do you think he's gonna make one of those 20 dishes again,
Hell no.
or is he gonna? Yeah, exactly. Is he gonna experiment? Is he gonna, you know, maybe he works at this French cuisine. Maybe he likes some Moroccan dishes as well. Whatever.
Exactly.
Maybe he's gonna experiment with that.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think that's
And
very
and
important.
yeah, whenever I mention that analogy to people, they're like, "Oh yeah, okay, makes sense. Yeah, sure, of course."
Right. Because it's so
Yeah.
much easier in today's world, it's so much easier to have that entitlement uh,
Mm,
aspect going on, because they know you from something. You have to be doing that, and you should be doing that. How they. Oh, now I went away again. Rude went also again. I don't know what's happening with Discord today. We are going on and off all
is
the
it
time.
Discord?
It got disconnected by itself. I have no idea why. But now you're back.
Okay.
But yeah, they have
Cool.
this entitlement going on that, oh, we know you from this. You should be doing that. And you have to
Yeah.
be doing that. Well,
Yeah.
what? Why? I mean, like, do we interfere with your life that, hey, you're doing a software engineering job at this company, you dare not go to another company to do a job?
Yeah.
We never thought
Yeah.
about that way. So why do you do that with musicians? Like, basically.
Yeah.
Yet again,
Yeah.
everybody wants us to create something, and when we do, they're like, well, that was not what we expected.
Yeah. Ah well. Some people are stupid.
True.
Yeah.
There we go. Straightforward answer. Some people are stupid.
Some
All
people are stupid.
exactly. All is required is that. That was the beautiful thing, that when I met Ruud, I had just heard the name of the band from Ruud, For All We Know, and I was very curious. So by the time, I think after a week or so on, I started to listen to it, and I completely loved it. I was like, holy shit, that is amazing. Like, because it's away from the usual things that we listen to, particularly coming from our background. You and I, we listen to metal music when we go to festivals, and all we are hearing is blasting of the metal coming up, right? And
Yeah.
let me start. Okay, so I mean, considering that, it was great. And I, being like a big fan of Pink Floyd, that still, balance remains in me quite much. And balance meaning that I love the calmness of the instrumentation, wrong word, but the way you have used the instruments to represent certain things. And you have an amazing vocalist there as well who had done a fantastic job. And if I
Yeah.
can recall that he did not have a background from rock as well, right?
Yeah, he did. He
Okay,
did.
okay, okay.
But he had never. Um, he did a album with
Oh yeah.
Arjen Lucas,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but he never projected himself as being a real rock singer.
Right.
In the Netherlands, he's more known as a, yeah. Nowadays, he makes Dutch in the Dutch language
Mm-hmm.
pop songs
Right.
because that's what he loves as well. And back in the day, he was more like a hip hop artist.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
very yeah, broad interested,
No.
and that's even more extreme. Going
Yeah.
from hip hop
Exactly.
to progressive metal or progressive rock, whatever you call it,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
into Dutch songs.
Yeah. I mean, that's I think that that's what I wanted to get away with the tunnel vision with True Cult Club as well. That happens today in the industry as well because we think that we focus so much on this one direction that we just gotta go in that direction. But
Mm.
actually, what I realized is sometimes really the magic does happen. That if you come from one field and you step into the other, boom. I mean, you can bring all your experiences that I do from metal, but bring my love of the pop music, for instance, as well. Completely being vulnerable to a complete new idea and try to do something on top of that. That just creates something completely magical sometimes. So that's
Mm.
I think we all need to do that in our lives as well, just to get out there and try something completely different or something new. Who knows? I mean, being rejected and being failed at something is inevitable. We would like this is the fear that holds us back. Is the reason whether we
And,
don't do anything.
and it's your own criterion of when you have failed. That's your own criterion.
Yeah, precisely.
For me, being failed. No, let me put it this way. my I must admit that my criterion for being successful with this project is if I would have recouped my expenses
Right,
since I financed it myself.
right.
And you know how expensive it is to make an album. So it's like 12,000 euros.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whack load of money.
Hell yes, sir.
But once I recouped it, I was like, okay, this
Pretty good.
project is successful.
Mm-hmm.
And especially of the second album, I still have boxes full with CDs in my little office upstairs. I
View-
should sell them one
Viewers,
day.
you know what to do. You know what to do. You need to go to Ruud's website, and you know what to do.
Oh yeah, for all we know. Yeah,
Exactly.
true. That would help. I think I still have a Corona discount. Yeah, but on the other hand, with the prices of shipping,
Oh
it's
yeah, we talked.
fucking ridiculous.
Oh wow, we talked about that. Yeah, right, right, right. Oh damn.
It's not funny anymore. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's pointless to offer CDs
Mm-hmm.
because I think that I pay 10 euros to send the CD
All right.
outside of the EU.
Jesus, Jesus, that's the price of like
So
kind of
how are we supposed to make money?
yeah. Right. And that's I think that the public needs to understand that it's not at the end of the day, it's not all chickens and beans right in front of you. There's like the costs nowadays of doing things are like extreme enough that if you buy a CD for 10, artist gets 10, let's say, even if the artist get 8 because of some expenses, even that's an amazing price that an artist can get 80%. But if it does,
Yeah,
on top of that, he is paying 10 to get you that product. So it's like, what has the artist made at the end of the day? Like more
nothing.
or less zero. And it's more
Yeah.
like more time consuming because the artist is working on bringing you the CD, like, bringing it
Mm.
to this postage and so on. So, I mean, these are hard times. There's no question. There's no
Yeah,
question.
true.
But I think we did discuss about the success thing as well when we were back in Finland. And we totally had the agenda of discussing that there are people who may win a lottery as well. And for them, that would not be a successful thing as well to be doing. If they win $1 million, it would still be like, well, yeah, could have been 2 million too.
Mm.
It's never that limit of, so it's sometimes
Yeah,
it's
I
nice
was
to pat your back and say, that's all right.
Yeah,
Nicely
man.
done.
I watched The Wolf of Wall Street 2 days ago for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's an old movie.
Oh yes.
And I had it list for a long time in my Netflix list,
Mm-hmm.
but it's about 3 hours. So every time when I wanted to start it, I was like, yeah, it's too long. And
Right.
but that's exactly the same. Those people never have enough.
Yeah.
They never have enough. And maybe that's exactly the reason why we are musicians, Asim.
Mm-hmm.
We are not the money grabbing types
Right.
because then we became accountants, I guess, or
Yeah.
whatever, something like that. I really
Precisely.
don't I really don't care that much about money. The only thing that when I decided to give it a try to become a professional musician is that I made the deal with myself. I don't want to lie awake about money in my life. And of course, that might happen for a week or for a month or whatever. And I've been very fortunate that that has never happened.
Right.
But I don't want to lie awake about money issues. Um, because if that would happen, then maybe then I would decide to keep music as a hobby again
Right.
and become, I don't know, garbage man or I don't know, whatever,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
whatever it is. I'm just saying that with selling CDs and stuff, yeah, we are not making any money
Yeah.
of it, which is fine, which is okay, but it shouldn't be costing me that much money either.
Right. Right. I mean, those days are
Then
definitely gone. It's due to the, evolution of the technology as well. Of course, back in 19, sorry. Back in 2000, 2005 till 2006, CDs still were like the thing. So there was a huge bump in the whole industry as well, or boom in the whole industry because of this physical sales. But now
yeah,
things have changed, and it's how it is. But still, I think if many times me and the guitar player of True Cult Club, we talk about, we go on the, if we are driving somewhere and we talk about it with somebody, and so see some car or see somebody uh, in a bit of a better state, and let's say it that way, if he's driving Ferrari or so on, we just were looking at Ferrari and we just went like, yeah, that guy definitely is not in the music business.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like as a joke perspective, not that I'm saying that money does not exist in music business too, but
yeah. I was just unless he's in the EDM business because that's another genre that the Netherlands are very good at, of
oh
course.
hell yes, sir. And you have many big
Those
artists from there.
those guys make money.
They are the real rock stars nowadays.
Yeah, nowadays exactly.
Right.
Those guys make money. Oh well, fine. It's
No, man.
just we were born into the wrong time, man.
Yeah,
We should have been born 20 years earlier or something.
could have been much different story in that sense. But Rude, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, hats off to the gentleman here for coming along on the stream.
Yeah,
And
man.
we
Oh,
had
thank you.
discussed about that we will be doing some virtual drinking sometime. We should be doing it, me and Rude. Absolutely, it's been a while because this whole Corona situation has locked us in, and even locking
Yeah.
us more in. So please stay the fuck home. Let's get this thing over with, and then we can go. So finally, we can meet up. Thank you very much,
Most
Rude.
like. Thank you for
Please,
having me. I
ladies and
really enjoyed it.
yeah, thank you. Please, ladies and gentlemen, follow up for all we know .com. No, for all we know band.com, correct?
No, for all we know .net.
.net.
Yeah, it's a bit complicated because on Instagram it's for all we know band.
Yes,
The website is for all we know .net,
right.
and that's because some domains were already taken, and
Correct.
yeah, I had to waggle a
Correct.
little bit.
And the
Well.
easiest way is you already can see up in this direction there, not there, but like above Rude, that you would see Rude's Instagram and YouTube uh, IDs or the handles. So please follow up Rude, and we will definitely be coming back to the point that we will be seeing you guys on the stream on Monday, as I do Mondays and Thursdays. But next week I'll only do on Mondays because I have a concert coming up as well, which I hoped Ruud would be here, we could have enjoyed together. That would have been
Where,
nice.
where, where are you going?
That first one is happening is an acoustic show at a festival in Kotka, and that is the eastern coast of Finland, and that's on the 14th of August. Then it's True Cult Club.
I see that you are playing on the Rocks, right?
Yes,
On August 26th or
that
something.
is true. Yes.
Yeah.
So if you can get your ass still there at that time.
Yeah,
that-
maybe you should.
Yes,
That would be fun.
exactly. I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna be talking with Ruud for after. I'm gonna bombard him. That Ruud, look at this beer I'm drinking. Look, 26th, 26th. That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a hell lot of fun. And thank you all for coming by. Unfortunately, I could not take any questions this time because I think this is about the guest and me having discussions. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope, Ruud, that you enjoyed it.
Definitely. Thank you very much.
It was
Fun.
certainly an experience as well to get this system rolling again. And you were part of it from the very beginning, and you still are part of it getting this thing fixed.
Cool. All right, man.
I'll wish
Have a
you a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you
You
very
too.
much. And I think
Thank you for putting up with my silly stories and whatnot. So yeah.
you guys are fantastic. And you are fantastic, sir. Take care, everybody. Have a pleasant evening. Ciao, ciao.